You are now tuned into The Bud Brunch.
Pour up, roll up, let's talk. Cheers.
All right, y'all, welcome back to The Bud Brunch. I am your co-host, Lucia.
And I'm your co-host, Ashley.
We are so excited to be back for episode 2. Now, just to catch you up, last episode, we brought y'all up to speed about 10 years deep, a whole lot of lessons, and one wild ride through them hazy, pothole-filled streets of I-71. Trust, it's been smoke, strategy, and survival.
But today, we're digging a little deeper. We're sitting down with an incredible entrepreneur who didn't wait for permission. He built an empire from the ashes of confusion in the gray, muddy waters of I-71.
Now, these are the ones who made it pop before the city even knew what was happening. Pulling up raw and unfiltered from the many raids, constant rule changes, and dealing with shady ass landlords, all while holding their communities down.
I mean, from backpacks to branded storefronts, we're talking with a pioneer who showed up, rolled up, and definitely glowed up in this cannabis business world.
So grab a can of cocktails, spark that J, and pull up, because the Bud Brunch table is set, baby, and you already got a seat.
Lucia, I see you over there munching on something new. Girl, what you got in your glass?
Wouldn't you want to know?
What's up, y'all? It is Sarita, and I am vibing with the Bud Brunch. Pour up, roll up, and let's talk.
All right, buds, it's time to get into what's in your glass. The part of the show where we sip, sample, and spill on the latest cannabis and cannabis-infused treats. From flower to edibles, drinks to dabs, we're putting our taste buds to the test and letting y'all know what's really hitting and what's getting passed.
Want to be in our glass?
You know you want to.
If your product hits, whether it's drinkable, smokable, or snackable, we just might feature it on What's in Your Glass. Slide into our DMs at the Bud Brunch and let's toast to that.
Cheers.
Now, Ashley, you asked about what's in my glass jar. Well, I know it looks like a cookie jar.
Is it a cookie jar?
And it is.
I thought I saw some cookies over there, child.
But there's more than cookies in here. I stopped by Pink Fox's. And he gave us the goods.
What were the goods?
There's some gummies.
Okay.
And some cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. These mini cookies are so cute.
I love
and
chocolate
bite
chip
size.
cookies.
You want some?
Perfect. Of course I do.
Okay. All right. So when I first bit into this cookie, okay. So first of all, I'm a cookie fanatic. I love me some cookies, some chocolate chip cookies. But here's the thing. My cookies have to be soft.
You like soft, not the crunchy ones like Chips Ahoy.
I cannot. They like cut my mouth. I'm like, who came up with this? It just didn't make sense. Like a hard cookie. So the cookies must be soft, y'all. If you ever want to buy me some chocolate chip cookies or like make me an edible, the softer the better.
Was the Pink Fox cookie soft? I pray it was.
God, it was like a little pillow. So like the edges
Like a pillow.
are crispy, and then but like the inside is like soft, and it's like, it's not gooey, but like, you know, it has like that cookie texture. You know, I have a cookie that was like cooked well, but they're like mini bite-sized cookies.
Just pop one in your mouth.
Yeah, but they're like, they all are consistent. Like, it's not like, you know, some like can like get hard, you know, because if you don't do it right, it can get hard since they're so tiny. They're bite-sized, but it's just a really good texture. Like,
He knows what he's doing over there.
man, well, I mean, he's been doing it for 10 years. I hope so.
That's true.
You better get it right. But what did you think about the gummy?
The gummy to me didn't have that nasty like bite. Like I didn't taste the cannabis at all, which is difficult to do. So shout out to Pink Fox.
It was more of like that creamy taste, and that I heard that is part of an infusion, but it's not a horrible thing. It's an aftertaste and it's slightly creamy.
And I hate like a sweet gummy. I hate that. So he did right by us.
Yeah,
with that one,
it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that about that, because I don't need all that sugar in my edibles, especially since I'm already going places with the extra infusion it has.
Yeah, 15 milligrams, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. And it was 10 for the cookies.
Yeah, that's plenty.
So we had like what is that? 25?
25 total.
Yeah, okay, so 25. Let's see how this goes. And we'll be back to share on what's in your glass.
Of course.
Hey, what's up? I'm Mark from Pink Fox. Don't miss the next sesh. Make sure to subscribe to the Bud Brunch on YouTube and Spotify.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tea with Ashley, your weekly pour of what's hot in cannabis culture, medicine, industry buzz, and the headlines has got everybody talking. Let's get into it. So first, let's talk about why this isn't just politics, it's personal. You ever had a product that works so well, you told your friends about it, your auntie started using it, and now everybody's swearing by it, but the doctor still won't co-sign it? Or worse, your insurance won't cover it and your job can still test for it? That's cannabis. Millions of people are using it to manage pain, anxiety, PTSD, you name it. But because of old federal laws, researchers haven't been allowed to study it properly. And that means doctors stay skeptical, laws stay outdated, and we stay stuck. But that might finally be changing. There's a new bill in Congress called the Evidence-Based Drug Policy Act, and it's about to flip the script. It basically says, let's stop pretending like science doesn't exist. Right now, the government agencies are legally banned from even supporting cannabis research. They have to act like cannabis is dangerous, even if the data says otherwise. This bill would break that wall down. If it passes, it means scientists could finally get federal funding to study cannabis, MDMA, psilocybin, all the things people are already using in real life. It means more clinical trials, more data, more receipts, and hopefully more respect for the plant. It also means lawmakers could start making policy based on facts, not fear. Why does that matter to you? Because when science catches up with the culture, your doctor can recommend cannabis with confidence. Your health insurance might one day cover it, and your cousin won't have to risk going to jail to run a wellness business. It's bigger than weed, y'all. It's about power, access, and finally getting legit support for something we've known works. So yeah, the feds are late, big surprise. But if they're finally listening to the science, I'm here for it. Now y'all know what time it is. Can y'all give me a minute? A medical minute, that is. I'm here to shed new light on what's happening in the world of medical cannabis and to set the record straight on the myths, the facts, and everything in between. All right, now listen. You ever heard somebody tell you shouldn't be consuming cannabis? Cannabis doesn't belong in the body, blah, 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 blah. Well, then explain to me why it shows up in breast milk. Yeah, you heard me right. The first meal you ever had might have come with cannabinoids. Here's the truth. All humans and all mammals are born with something called an endocannabinoid system. That system is literally built to interact with cannabinoids. It helps to regulate things like mood, appetite, pain, sleep, memory, real life stuff. Now here's the wild part. Breast milk naturally contains compounds called anandamide and 2-AG. This is even from a mother who's never consumed cannabis in her life. These are endocannabinoids, the same kind of compounds found in the cannabis plants. And they're not just floating around for no reason. They actually help babies feed, grow, and develop. We're talking brain function, immunity, even helping them figure out how to latch. So if your body was literally nourished on cannabinoids as a baby, why are we still criminalizing them now? Next time somebody hits you with, you shouldn't be using cannabis, you hit them back with, honey, I was nursed on cannabinoids, okay? We've been locking people up over a compound that shows up in the first food some of us ever had. That's wild. But look it up. Don't just take my word for it. Search endocannabinoids in breast milk. Science been new, y'all. And if that doesn't blow your mind, I got more for you next week. So that's a wrap. Stay lifted, stay tuned, and I'll catch you next time on Tea with Ashley, where I spill the tea and spark the convo. Now go sip on that.
Hey, I'm Christy with Freedom Grow. Don't miss the next sesh. Subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, The Bud Brunch.
Today we're tapping in with Mark Naguib, founder and creative force behind Pink Fox, one of DC's original cannabis brands. From the early days of Initiative 71 to now leading the way in the licensed market, Mark's been at the forefront of shaping DC's cannabis culture. He's a designer, a visionary, and a true staple in the game. We're excited to dive into his story today. Are you ready, buds? Pour up.
Roll up. Let's talk. Blaze word alert. Our guest doesn't know it, but anytime you hear today's Blaze word during this episode,
If you're 21 and over, we need you to spark something or sip your can of cocktail.
cheers, hit it, sip it, and stay locked in.
This episode's Blaze word is Kelly. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you so much for having me.
Up, Mark?
That was quite an introduction too. I gotta say, it's super humbling. So thank you so much.
How are you feeling today?
Feeling super good. I'm so excited to be here with you guys for calling me a name in the game. Like, you guys are just as much. So I'm really excited to be here with both of you guys.
No way. When we sat down and said, well, let's put this list together, since I take a lot of pictures, you know how Google has the memories.
Yeah.
One of the memories that comes up a lot is a picture of you in AJ's basement.
Oh,
during
man.
one of his events.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the main pictures. And then I have another one of me in my Pink Fox racerback tank top that I got at the Bud Summit.
Yeah.
But do you remember, like, what was your first pop-up experience? What was it like?
The first pop-up I ever did was at the Black Cat. It was, I think, the Friday after Thanksgiving. Do you guys remember? You remember that?
Thanksgiving, was it?
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting a table. We didn't even have a logo yet. My partner at the time, Kelly, was off-site somewhere. Phone Homie was actually at the table right beside me on my right. And Rico had so much shit. I mean, if you know Phone Homie, he was
a merch king.
Dude, he had everything.
Yeah.
And he had everything on the jump, too. I feel like other people, like, gradually...
They built up their arsenal, but he was just ready.
There, yeah. And so he saw how sad my table looked and literally was like, do you mind if I, like, let me get half your table?
Because
I got so much. Right. Yeah, like, let me get half of... And he hooked me up with shirts and hats and some buds. And, like, I mean, he totally took care of me. But
wow. Shout out to Phone Homie.
Shout out to Phone Homie. But that was my first pop-up. And... I mean, talking about the OGs, I mean, meeting Rico day one.
Yeah.
I mean, meeting Scrogger like day 3. Meeting you guys, meeting Caroline Phillips, meeting Phil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many people that have been around for a minute. You know what I mean? Have tried to stick it through. So yeah.
And you've listed a lot of people who will be on the first season of the Bud Brunch.
Yeah. See,
that's what we're doing it for. Definitely
the
OGs that have been around since day one.
Now, you mentioned Kelly. You and Kelly started Pink Fox together. Can you take us back to those early days and like what was the energy in DC starting something like that?
I mean, I think the energy was like super unknown and super exciting, right? Like, and maybe like a little bit of hesitation just because, in my opinion, right, there wasn't as many people doing it, right? We're all trying to see what each other are doing and how we're doing
What's working.
I mean, there was only one Phone Homie that like was so loud and in charge, and some degree he gave us confidence, right? Scrogger is the same way, right? Like, dude just knew what he was talking about as soon as he came out. Kelly, we got laid off the same day from the job we had.
Oh,
yeah, so we had known each other for a long time, and Kelly was so tapped into DC. She was like a lifelong DC person.
Yeah.
And so she came to me one day and was like, you know, in the work setting, and was like, yo, I heard you're the guy that smokes in the office. I don't know if you know what's going on with Initiative 71 and this and that, but I'm going to meet a guy right now to get seeds. Mm-hmm. It's a guy I met on a message board at, like, you know, one of the meetings as I-71 was ramping up.
Yeah.
Like, will you go with me as backup? No shade or shame to the dude that she was meeting. Oh, you know how it goes. Yeah, you know how it goes.
I understand.
And so I'm like, first of all, who told you I smoked? You know?
How did that
Right,
get
cat's out the bag.
Long story short, she was on the jump of I-71 way before even I was hip. Like, she got me hip. When we got laid off, she was like, oh, I think this is really something I'm going to explore. I think we should explore it. We had done small dinner parties and made brownies for friends at this point. And she was like, I think, you know, we should explore this as a business. And I told her, truthfully, she was crazy. I didn't think, you know, DC is not a cheap city.
It's
Absolutely.
not.
And you're trying to live in the city and like.
And reputation is everything too.
Reputation's everything. I just lost this job. I'm bugging out. You know what I mean? And I got this lady in my ear talking about we should start a weed company. I told her she was crazy. And luckily, she kept me around, and
she kept you around. I love how you said that. Luckily, she kept me around.
She did. I mean, like, listen, she changed my entire life. She passed away in June of 2021 after a long battle with ovarian cancer.
So sorry to hear
But
that.
it's the worst.
Rest in peace.
But she changed my entire life. I mean, just my entire life. It's so crazy to even think about, and I'm so lucky. Yeah, I'm really lucky. And her thing too was always edibles. She was never interested in smoking. She was a competitive adult female rower.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she was always trying to protect her lungs and trying to protect her body. And I want to get high, but how's a different way to do it? So off the jump, she was always advocating for edibles.
Yeah.
And here we are 10 years later, 10 years this July, a manufacturing type 1 company in DC only making edibles. It's full circle.
She really was the visionary. She
Right.
knew what was coming. Well, again, rest in peace to Kelly. I know that was a great loss for you.
Right. And can you just share with us, because you started something with her. You guys built this, what it is, what you are actually fulfilling today. So I know losing somebody that you started it with was really challenging for you, but I guess what was the motivation to kind of like keep Pink Fox going once she transitions, and what keeps you connected to the mission?
It's super hard to go to work every day, in my opinion, right? Like, it really is, because you built this thing with this person, and I think that everybody would tell you, like, you got to be careful who you get into business with and yada yada. I had the best business partner of all time, and I was very, very lucky. And I just say, yeah, it's super tough, even still today, to like some days be motivated or some days be excited, but like there is like a super big absence, right? That I don't know that it ever gets filled, but I think what keeps us going is because she was the only one that like believed at the beginning. So you're not trying to prove yourself right. You're like trying to prove like her right? You know what I mean? It's like a totally different kind of motivation.
Right.
I find myself here because, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like when she left, I tried to leave really, really badly. I tried to leave DC. I tried to leave maybe even cannabis. I was trying to find other jobs in cannabis, whether it was fate or whatever. I couldn't find any spot to go to. It's, I was talking to people and looking for somewhere. I couldn't find anywhere to go, and God kind of, I didn't,
That could have been Kelly from the other side.
Yeah, for sure.
Directing you to where she
For sure. I mean, Lord knows I tried. So I think it's a blessing in disguise.
I always say everything happens for us, not to us. So those rejections put you where you need it to be, which is with Pink Fox.
Yeah, it was definitely an uphill battle, and there were definitely times where I questioned everything and didn't, feel super excited about what was going on. But I can't complain too much. This has been a journey, and I tell my friends now, it truly feels like, like you scored an NFL touchdown or some shit. Like you did something, and now you're on the scoreboard, right? Like you can't they can't take it away anymore.
Right.
They can't say you didn't do it. Right. Yeah, like you did it, Whether it lasts or whether I have a 1 season or a Pro Bowl season or whatever the case is.
You scored.
I scored a point. So that feels pretty crazy.
So you and Kelly got together. You created this company. What was it like trying to build your brand, though, during Initiative 71? Because nothing was really regulated. So what was that experience like?
It was fun, to be honest with you. You're right. Nothing was regulated.
It's the Wild West.
It was the Wild West. It really, it was. DC is such a beast, it can be. Yeah, I think when I-71 started, right, everybody was doing a different iteration. Some people did the pens and pencils and trading cards and, artwork and motivational speeches.
Yeah, the motivational speeches one, when I saw that, I was like, this
just throwing it at the wall.
It's a low-cost gift right here.
But for us, it was like, what can we own? What can we sell? What can we get people to buy into?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get them to buy into this lifestyle brand. And the brand, the idea is clothing. Every shirt at this time says pod or I smoke pod, or it doesn't have that like kind of uniqueness that will let you wear it in normal day situations.
Yep. Right.
And so that's where we really thought we were going to fit this gap in the market and just do these DC centric designs. Our first design was just the logo. Our second design was Lincoln without a head and our logo as the head.
Yep.
We did a Metro design. We did a Metro design in every sports team color for DC.
And
Nice.
you created those designs, right?
Yeah, I did these designs. Yeah, we do a cherry blossom design every year.
Yep.
The last design that we just did is a Metro like skull face that's got the DC skyline as the mouth and the Metro as the eyes, the Metro train as the eyes.
Where do you get inspiration from?
Oh,
for
everywhere.
these?
Everywhere.
Just
yeah.
the city.
Yeah, the city most especially, right? Because DC has so much art and like so much culture and so much history.
Yeah, that is unique to the city.
I mean,
That's
people like
been
Marvin
always
Gaye
here.
came up here.
Right.
Like, I mean, people that like changed everything. So, this city I think is super special. And I think this city too, like, you know, a city like New York, a city like Chicago, not LA in my opinion, maybe, but New York, Chicago for sure has so much like culture and artwork like in it.
Yeah.
It's easy to like elevate it or take inspiration. So for us and for me, I mean, yeah, doing a cherry blossom every spring, super simple.
It's DC.
Let me do something on the Metro, super simple. Let me do something on Lincoln's Memorial, super simple. You know what I mean? All these ideas. Let me do something on the American flag, super, you know, these DC-centric things. I mean, one of my favorite designs ever that didn't catch on so much was a redacted design. So it was like, you know, it says Pink Fox Apparel, but because DC and, you know, redacted documents and keeping secrets and all this shit, like, yeah, like, let me...
That's dope.
Yeah, so, I mean, and then, you know, you see it kind of in Virgil's work with Off-White and stuff like that. So I think this city, I mean, one of the designs I took a lot of inspiration from was a George Clinton album cover, you know, a Chocolate City design.
Yeah.
And so I did a coin that looks like you know, it's melting, but it's all DC and it says Chocolate City.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of stuff just worked so well for us.
And it just comes to you, these designs.
Oh, I mean, I think all good artists steal a lot, so...
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, I think all good artists steal a lot.
That is funny.
But Pink Fox, though, what does that name come from and what does it mean?
All right, you ready? I mean, it's super not as exciting as you would think. We're all in the room and we've made a couple batches of brownies and or cookies at this point. And we're going to do this thing. We're going to like try to play the I-71 game. And so we're thinking of names, right? Oh, we should be Treehouse this and 420 that. And like nothing's like catching. Everything sounds so similar. And our buddy in the room was like, yo, you should just call yourselves the Pink Fox. At this time, we had gone to Target and bought, and you know, in the dollar section of Target, as soon as you walk in,
My favorite
they
section.
I mean, they always got the good shit.
Right.
They just so happened to have these Ziploc bags that had a cartoon Pink Fox on them. And we had just so happened to buy 5 or 10 of these boxes.
Yeah.
So everything we were giving out had a goofy cartoon Pink Fox on the bag.
That is hilarious.
And our bro just was like, yo, call yourselves the Pink Fox. It's like such a good name.
Yeah.
And so we, you know, again, coming from the intellectual property office, it was like, okay, we'll call ourselves that. Now we got to come up with a logo or like something that's going to say Pink Fox, that's ours, that we could take ownership of. I mean, the joke at the time, if Kelly was here, she'd tell you my first attempt, it was like angry. And like, you know what I mean? It was like an angry looking like piece of like it did not translate at all to something inviting or that you would spend money on or
Right.
but in my head I did, like, truthfully, honestly, I was like, oh, this should work with like 5 lines. It doesn't have to be like a lot, right? Like in my head, I could see this thing being like 5 lines, and I don't know, it took like 5 or 6 hours. But you know, the next day I had 3 versions of these things, and we put all 3 up like on the wall, and whenever someone saw something they liked, they were supposed to vote for one. The one that won was the best one. And I mean, we got lucky because it spells it.
Right.
And it makes
I love
a
that.
face.
It was cool. I was like,
Very
when I
unique.
seen that, I was like, this is different. This is unique.
Yeah.
And this is definitely, it's going to go far.
I hope so. I mean, it's been 10 years and
It's gone
this
far,
is like the new beginning, though. I think we're all in this new era where people have to take this city serious now. Mm-hmm. I heard the numbers for April. I don't want to speak out of turn or anything, but I heard we spent $5 million on medical cannabis in just April alone in DC.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to be a $35 million annual city.
5
million just in that month. I mean, we're looking at a new era.
Yeah.
And I mean, Maryland does $1 billion a year. Comparatively speaking, in a full recreational marketplace.
Right.
Maryland does 1.1 billion with a B.
Yeah.
And so we look at DC, that's 15 square miles, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but we do have 18 universities and we do have, you know, 25,000, I don't know.
Consumers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we also do have do we have the temporary,
Yeah.
the 30-day licensing?
Yeah.
We have a license
Self-certified.
that's 3 days now.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. The city is hustling to make this program successful. I mean, April 1st was a new era for the city. I mean, like, you either transitioned or you said bye to the game.
Yeah.
And I could say Pink Fox is probably in at least 35 to 40 stores right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so how does that feel going from I-71 into...
Yeah, from a table, and now you're in stores on shelves.
Like,
legal market?
It feels good. I don't mind laughing or acknowledging maybe a little hypocritical nature of it because I definitely understand there's very few industries that like you're familiar with that become legal, right? So like I get why we're all kind of looking side-eyed and like a little bit like fuck this, you know what I mean? The only way to make this ours still and like not lose the ownership of it is to keep playing the game. I think that if you wanted to be in cannabis and you wanted to be in cannabis in DC, certainly isn't cheap and there are barriers that you have to jump through and make happen, but I think it's possible. Like, if I could do it, I think that most people could do it. Honest to God.
No, and that's why we want you guys on here, the OGs, because you've been through it. You know the pitfalls.
Yeah.
And there are people who are listening that still want to be a part of this industry.
Well, and I'm saying there's space for you.
Yeah.
There's enough for all of us to eat. And also, too, like, I think the biggest thing to remember, don't think that, like, you're late to the game. The party is just starting.
Right.
Like, you got an idea. Let's expand it. Like, and don't get me wrong. It's not like you're going to go get a small business loan. But there is a group of people out there that have capital that, like, you know, they can make things happen. And also, too, like, any of us started, I think, at least in D.C. I'm not trying to speak for everybody. But as far as I know, everybody was so grassroots. I mean, we started with a tray of brownie.
It.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one tray went to 2 trays, went to 4 trays.
The sky's the limit, y'all.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Definitely.
So we talked about how it feels to be in the legal market now, but when you got the news that you were approved, how did you feel? Like, tell us about that moment when you found out.
I mean, it's funny because, like, for a lot of people, you get approved twice. You put in for a conditional license because you have so many unknowns. You have so little money, and at least for my experience, you have so little money, you have so many unknowns, and you're trying to secure your spot. So you get the conditional, where you basically pay a fee for DC to be like, yeah, we'll let you, like, you know, we'll get you some paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after that, the real work does begin because you got to get more money and you got to find a spot to post up in. You got to find an address.
Yeah.
If you want to keep that conditional license or if you want to transfer it to like fully converted. So the real work begins then. I think that, again, too, it sounds so stupid, but once you get that full license, like I got my money, I've got the business open, I've got the address, and you get the full approval, I don't know how excited you are because then the real work begins again, right? Like now I can start the business, you know? And now you're starting the business, and it's like, I mean, it is scary as fuck. Like, the prices are not the same as the marketplace you've been used to. You're dealing with real medical cultivators. You're dealing with other manufacturers. You're dealing with people that, I mean, they take their shit serious. You know what I mean? It's not, we're not flipping packs, and we're not talking about eighths, and we're not talking about, I'll see you next week and I'll front you this and stuff like that. I mean, like, it's real business, and, you know, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. So everything feels scary. And then on top of that, a lab is going to come in and test everything. Department of Health is, for us, because we're making edibles, Department of Health is coming in to scrutinize how we're keeping our kitchen, the temperatures we're keeping them at. I mean, like, it just is, you know, the moments where you feel cool are so fleeting. They come and go, right? Like, you know, when someone tries your edible, or when you go to the store and drop them off, and you know, you get a little feedback and stuff like that. But you know, just like before I came over here to record with you guys, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to talk shit, but like, I don't want to wake up at 9 a.m. and go to work on Sunday. You know,
everybody wants to, right?
Yeah. So you got, like, and I tell this to everybody too, like, the trick isn't making brownies that get you high. The trick is to make the exact same brownie 10,000 times that gets you high.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the real fucking hard part.
Well, tell us about these products, though, because you said you're in, like, how many stores?
I think we're in over 40 stores now, maybe.
Okay, so when somebody goes to the store, what are they looking for?
Right now we've got, I think, 12 or 13 SKUs. We've got sweet and savory, which I'm super proud of.
Okay.
The sweet stuff, it's pretty classic. We do a brownie, chocolate chip cookie. We do a cookie with mini peanut butter M&Ms in there. We do a peanut butter cookie. We do Fox Rocks, which are Muddy Buddies. We do.
What's a Muddy Buddy?
You never had Muddy Buddy? Have you ever?
No.
You ever have something called Puppy Chow?
No.
We used to make it all the time in high school. Girls used to make it all the time. But you take Rice Chex cereal.
Okay.
You melt peanut butter. You melt chocolate. And you pour that on the cereal. And then you cover it with powdered sugar.
What?
You can see them at the gas station. Chex makes these. All, and like, they sell them.
And you've infused that.
Yeah, so we infuse that.
Wow.
And so each cereal piece is like between 1 and 2 milligrams, something like that. And so you get like 100-gram bag, and it'll have 100 milligrams in it, you know, because 1 to 1 and stuff like that. We make our own Cinnamon Toast Crunch, though. And both of those items are gluten-free. A ton of gluten-free on the menu. We do our own gummies. Our gummies are different than what's on the market right now in DC. We do a gelatin-based gummy.
Okay.
I'm big on wanting my gummies to taste like a Gusher, to have that gummy texture. Right. So that's what we've found works for us. We have a menu item called the Keo bars. We called her Keo, and it's a lemon blueberry Rice Krispie. Oh. Yeah, we use blueberry Chex and lemon essence in the marshmallow. It's gluten-free. And I think they're delicious. So,
a nod to her legacy too.
Yeah. On the other side of this coin, the savory items, we do our own Cheez-Its.
Shut up. Mark.
Yeah. So what we do is we make our Cheez-It dough. We'll make the dough with cheddar cheese, and then we'll hand cut 10,000 Cheez-It squares.
Y'all are busy over there. So it can't be just you.
No, I got a small team. I got a small team of helper. Oh, it's me and Alex right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Alex has been with me for about 7 years through I-71 days. You know, came up with Kelly and I, and he's an absolute workhorse. He's the best. Yeah. So it's he and I right now.
This time around last year, I was doing a similar thing, talking to people who've been in the industry for a while. One of them who had gotten a cultivation license, and they were nearing the deadline to have everything together. And that was one of the hurdles, was finding a location that everybody, they had everything else in place, but getting retail in DC was next to impossible. But here you are in your space functioning and really just killing the game right now. Can you share about your experience about getting your retail space?
Yeah, for sure. I hope I'm not making it sound easy, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it is a fucking hurdle. And I mean, a big piece of it is getting someone that like understands what it is you're trying to do. If you can get the landlord to understand what it is you're trying to do, I think you're going to be in a much better position if you can talk to the landlord directly even. You know what I'm saying? Like, get this person, you know, I hate to say it, but like buy into the dream you're selling. Then it happens. Otherwise, you know, and I'm not trying to talk shit, but like these landlords, they, you know, they think there's a dime a dozen, right? Like they think there's 50 people behind you. They're going to move in and do this and do that. So it is a tough game to convince them to get you in that space. But my best advice would be like, you've got to get them to believe in your dream. And it doesn't help to have some money in the pocket. I'll tell you this. Our guy fucking killed me on the security deposit. So,
I mean, what was his reaction when you said, I want to come in here and I'm going to be making weed?
Yeah, I mean, truly.
But it's legal.
You tell this guy, like, hey, I'm looking for a kitchen. I want a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
It's not going to be open for foot traffic, and I'm going to cook weed all day. And the guy is not excited about it, right? Like, because again, too, all these guys are like thinking, oh, I want the foot traffic. I want a nice restaurant. I want people to come in because then it ups the, you know, value in the property and all this stuff. I'm getting exposure, yada, yada. You know, for us, it was a really good opportunity because this place had been vacant a little while. And, you know, there is definitely a cannabis tax out there for a lot of us.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. That was a lot of the people's hurdles is once they did start to share what it was that they're going to do, people are like, wait a minute, you're doing this. I'm going to actually charge you a little bit more.
20% in most cases, right? Like, I mean, and that's if you're lucky. I mean, there is absolutely a cannabis tax, and I think there's, again, too, you know, not to talk shit, but there's a world where I-71 revenues exist, and there is a world in which medical, you know, revenues exist. And those two worlds usually do not cross over. Everybody, the second they can put their hand in your pocket, will, in fact, put their hand in your pocket. And it's fucking tough. But the real estate side of it, I think it's possible. I think the barriers are being broken every day. I think that every time someone does it successfully, it sets up two more the next time.
Right.
One of the hardest parts to give a little bit of the other side of the coin, this is why landlords are the way they are. A lot of these guys don't own the property outright. Shit is expensive. And so because they don't own the property outright, they put someone like us in that property. The bank can call them the next day and say, you owe us. Because of the way the loan terms are set, it's like, oh, you're breaking federal law. We're not going to guarantee this loan anymore. We're calling the loan in.
It's a risk.
Yeah, it's a huge risk in some cases. So you've got to find the right landlord. Him himself has money, owns the property outright. And that's why we see a lot of cannabis looking at historic DC. Because a lot of historic DC is owned by guys and families that have had it for a second. Yeah. It's not always in the best shape, but they at least have the ability to give us shots.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we needed to go Schedule 3 at the very minimum.
Right.
Because it opens up banking kind of you know, it doesn't help so much. It's not the full answer, but it does ease the burden. Yeah, it does.
Right. And still with all that, you are like, yeah, let's go Pink Fox.
I'm dumb. So, I mean,
all the successful people are a little crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's what it is, right? Like, I mean, listen, the best part is I get to be my own boss, I guess. So I think that keeps you motivated.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you definitely don't want to head back to that workforce.
I tried. They didn't want me. So, like, now, you know.
So what is next? Speaking of, what's next for Pink Fox? What do you have coming up? Where do you see yourself in the future?
I mean, I think next, most important, is to bolster this DC marketplace, economy, movement. What's next in the immediate is DC. We got to take care of this program. We got to take care of each other. We got to take care of patients. We got to offer high quality products. And I think, truly, honestly, we are, and when I say we, I mean DC as a city, between what Caroline's doing with the festival, between the people signing up here, I think Alternative Solutions is growing incredible weed.
Yeah.
I think we make an amazing line of edibles. I think Rob from DC Extracts makes incredible cartridges. I think that stores like Smoking Things, I know Blunt Sluts is trying to come online. There's a couple people that are going to open lounges that are just going to be next level. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Smoking Things there on New York Ave. They've got a huge storefront. I've been in the upstairs third floor where the lounge is.
Yeah.
And they're doing this thing where there's space for 40, but they're allowing 25 people up there.
Keep it comfortable.
And there's flat screens everywhere.
Nice.
You know, you can rent a piece, light one up, and just like post up. You know what I mean? DC is working hard to have on-site consumption in a sense of like, you know, we could do a dinner party. Like these new, the future.
Things that were happening in the beginning.
Unregulated. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. But just more on a regulated level where people know and can trust what's happening.
You know, it is silly, right? Because it's like you're saying right now, we did it. Mm-hmm. We know it can be done. We know it's successful.
Right.
We know the demand is there.
Right.
Do we need a chaperone like the city to watch over it? Maybe not. But like right now, that's how the game's played. And so let's play the game.
Play the game.
You know what I mean? And let's get fucking paid.
Right. No, I think like you said, those things are going to help shape DC's identity in cannabis.
And we're definitely...
Caroline went from 1 day to 2 days, and she has
got a week now.
I'm saying, like we've seen the evolution, it's happened. Growth. Yeah,
that's why we're back here telling these stories, because it's definitely been a great evolution from then until now. And as you move forward, what type of a legacy is it that you would like? What does honoring Kelly's legacy look like moving forward to you with Pink Fox and inside of this industry?
It's tough. That's tough. I'd like to think that the legacy would be like, I always said I wanted people to like go to their friends and say, you're never going to believe this, like this story, right? Yeah. And the story is Pink Fox. Like I went and had this great edible. I just want someone to be that excited about it, right? Like that's the legacy I'd hope to leave. I mean, as far as Kelly goes, like that's so tough just because you did so much together and so much happened because you did it together that at this point, you know, it's only been 4 years removed from her, but you hope she's happy with the direction things are going. I think that's the biggest thing is like even making small decisions for me still, I would default to her, like try to think in my head the thought experiment of like what it would be like to talk to her about. So I think that for me, I hope she's just happy with everything.
I'm sure
I think she would be more than proud of where you're at with this, because I'm sure when you guys were when it came to her as an idea, it wasn't something that she wanted to be at a pop-up to do. She wanted, you know, she did want to be a legitimate business and a legitimate part of this industry.
Yeah, I think she'd be excited about having the kitchen and stuff like that. I think some of the choices I make, she probably, but that's why we were really good partners too. I think that's why we were really good partners.
When I asked about what was next, I didn't hear you mention a retail store.
Oh,
but I've heard, you know, rumors.
Little birdie told us.
Is that true?
There could be
there may be a
Pink Fox dispensary. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, like that'd be super cool. You know, when we were looking at everything, everybody was going for retail, and our retail was slowing down immensely at the end of I-71 post-COVID. Because we didn't have retail, you know, we were still hidden, you know, as far as things go. A lot of people got to see product, and you never saw our product until you ordered it. Definitely hurt the business in some ways. So it was easy for us to say, oh, we should be manufacturers and fill the shelves. Look how many people want to be retailers. Like, let's do what we're good at. We feel like we're really good at making our edibles. And will there be a retail store? Yeah, I hope so one day, because I would love to do the art for it. And you know us, we would love to have
be awesome.
The full clothing line and the hat line and sweaters and all that shit. I don't know that answer today.
Okay.
If you're a collaborator out there, we would love to hear from you. So.
And where can people reach you? How can people get a hold of you? What's your social media? All
Yeah,
that?
for sure. Our website is pinkfox202.com. If you send an email through that submission, it goes right into our inbox. info@pinkfox202.com is the email. FKA Pinkfox is the Instagram. Pinkfox202.com is the Twitter or X. But if you need anything, hit us up on the website or on Instagram. We'd be happy to answer any question you have or take recipe advice or, anything at all.
All the things. Well, Mark, it was great.
It was a
having
pleasure
you on
having
the
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 OG of Pink Fox here on the show with us today, learning so much about your journey into this space. We wish you the best into this new chapter of legalization here in Washington, D.C. And it's always great to have your presence here on the Bud Brunch.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all, it's time for one of my favorite segments, Puff or Pass. This is where I hit our guests with a few tough choices, and they've got to let us know, are you puffing on it or passing it to the left? And listen, it's not always easy. These are the kind of questions that'll make you pause mid-puff and really think about it. You ready, Mark?
So ready.
All right, puff or pass. Building a business in D.C. versus expanding to other states.
I definitely puff on DC for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Music while high versus movies while high.
Dang. Definitely puff on movies while high just because I'm such a movie guy. Yeah, like through and through. I am. The first thing I do when I move into a new space, I put on the worst Indiana Jones. It's like my thing now. I put on Crystal Skull, and before I know it, the living room is done.
Wow.
If I'm
telling
smoking
you.
and watching a movie, I'm going to have to rewind 87
No.
times.
Look,
Look, start thinking about stuff.
You gotta be very meticulous about how you pick these things. Like you can't watch the movie. It's more like auditory response.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
And it was almost like a time thing too.
Oh, 100%,
Like
yeah.
when you're at this part of the movie, you're like, okay, I've been doing this for this long.
I'm gonna check in for this dumbass
Right.
scene and then
I'm gonna take a break for this little bit.
It's
then
the
start
best.
back up. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, puff or pass. Edibles versus flour.
Fuck. Professionally, I have to puff on edibles.
Okay.
Personally, let me take my hat off. Personally, I mean, I will never give up the bong. Like, my favorite thing in the world was like a hard bong rip. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, puff or pass. Solo smoke session or group sesh?
Ooh, I get what's the group sesh vibe like?
It's whatever vibe you like. Whatever.
I mean, if it's the vibe I'm choosing, then yeah, for sure. It's always cool to be the guy in the group that I imagine in this scenario, right? There was a lot of scenarios. I play a lot of golf, so there's a lot of scenarios where I'm bringing this thing to I can't wait to play golf with Mark. He always gets us high type thing.
Okay.
So I'm super
You're
down
that
with
guy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, super. And I suppose that's how Kelly finds me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because he got me high. I heard you could smoke with him type thing.
Hold on, so it's a sesh on the golf course?
Usually with me, yes, always.
That's my kind of golf.
Yeah.
Well, you're golfing
That's
with
my
Phil
kind of
though. Are you?
Yeah, we're sponsoring that tournament. Yeah, we're going to sponsor that
Yes.
tournament for sure. Yeah,
Nice.
That's gonna be dope.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be exciting.
for sure. Phil's the best.
Isn't he?
Yes. All right, one more. Puff or pass. I-71 market versus the license market.
I mean, I spent fucking 8 years in I-71 and have been in license for 5 months, but listen, no, it's what got me everything, so no disrespect at all, but I'm puffing on medical just because I think that it's going to be what retires me.
Ooh. And that's a good reason.
Yeah.
That is reason enough.
It's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
As it should.
Yeah,
You've
it's what I'm
put up
hoping.
so much blood, sweat, and tears, and so many years in this space. Definitely.
I hope it retires
reap the
us all.
rewards,
Truly.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Truly.
All right, I have a bonus one.
Yeah, give me 6 more. So.
Creating new designs for merch or creating a new edible product?
Always merch for me.
Always merch, the
100.
design.
I mean, if I could leave leadership and work in the art department, I would do that tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, that was Puff or Pass, where there are no wrong answers, just real ones. And you definitely passed the vibe check, Mark.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
So how you feeling over there from that cookie gummy combo?
You know, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I could take on the world.
Okay.
The world is mine.
That's amazing.
The Pink Fox takeover.
So, I mean, like, what could you see this being good for? This type of high that you're feeling?
To get through like stressful situations like raising teenagers.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you know. Because
The
every day
anxiety.
it's something.
Yeah.
So definitely like, you know, after those phone calls and then after the talks and then after the attitudes and then
After the attitudes.
you know, but everything's going to be all right.
Yeah. So it has that type of feeling for you. Yeah.
How about you? How are you handling things?
I mean, I feel good. Definitely relaxed, but like focused. Like I can get this admin work done that we have to do after this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always work with Ashley. You know, never fun good times. But
How many cheers would you give the combo of the cookie and gummy?
well, I would definitely give it 5 cheers.
Yes.
Everything, even down to the packaging, it's so cute. And you know what I love about Pink Fox is, you know, and they talked about this in the interview, was about how the design.
Like the consistency? Oh, the design of the
design,
logo.
right?
Yeah.
And I now remember when I first saw it, and I was just like, "Wow, this is like, it's so creative because it says Pink Fox,
And it looks
is
like a
pink
fox.
right?
Yes.
And then it's not like associated with weed, so it could be anything, you know. And a nice black sleek bag, Mylar bag. I kind of wish there were more cookies in the bag.
I'm telling you, when you run out,
Yeah,
it's the worst
it's the saddest feeling. It's like, oh,
Terrible.
But you know, he's going to be in 30 like dispensaries, so I don't think you're going to be hard to get your
find them.
hands on.
Yeah.
So
That's the good thing.
so definitely 5 cheers. Are we do you
in
agree?
agreement?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, duh. It's amazing. I would give it 5. Easy 5. Cheers. Mark really pulled the curtain back for us today. I mean, from gifting days to running a licensed brand, he showed us what it looks like to bet on yourself and your city every step of the way.
Facts, man. And it's the way that he kept DC all through it for me. The brand, the products. It was a whole vibe.
Yeah.
And it was authentic too. You can tell it's built different. And it's kind of like rooted more in the culture.
And what really hit me was the way he honored Kelly's legacy by pushing Pink Fox to that next level.
Yeah.
It was so powerful.
Yeah, there's still so much more to Mark's story.
Right. And the way he kept the vision alive and still made it to the other side, man, that's legacy work.
For sure. Pink Fox isn't just a brand, it's a statement. And Mark's only just getting started.
I'm Caroline Phillips with the National Cannabis Festival, and I'm glad to be part of the Bud Brunch Convo. Culture, community, and real conversation.
Next week's episode is one you do not want to miss. We sat down with Caroline Phillips, the founder of the National Cannabis Festival, and she really opened up. We talked about her upbringing, her journey through activism and organizing, and what inspired her to create the largest ticketed cannabis event on the East Coast. She gave us a real behind-the-scenes look at who she is outside of cannabis, big changes that are coming to NCF this year, and the parts of the festival that people don't always see. We even got into some deep emotional territory, so you might want to grab a tissue for this one. That's next week on The Bud Brunch. Well, that's it for this session, y'all.
I'm your co-host, Lucia.
And I'm your co-host, Ashley.
And this is The Bud Brunch, where we do it
For the culture,
for the community, for the conversation. Until next time.
bye.
Sitting alone, are you watching the same sky?
Ready to be a bud?
You know you want to.
Subscribe to The Bud Brunch on YouTube and Spotify and let's brunch and blaze together.
In the twinkling silence, baby, I would be.
This episode of The Bud Brunch was hosted and produced by Ashley Stafford and Lucia Nyankale. Special thanks to DC Scarger for donating the equipment that helps bring our voices to you. Music for this episode is licensed and used with permission. You can find those credits in the caption. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.